Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you and peace be upon us all. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, our children, our youth, our future. Everyone here today is here for one reason or another, and today is a very special day. It's a day of reflection. It's a day of thinking about people who made sacrifices for freedom. Individual freedom, freedom from discrimination, freedom against hate, freedom against people who would like to set one another apart from another, apartheid. In 1966, 59 young people were protesting the very brutal policies of the government of South Africa, and they were killed. And the uproar that occurred throughout the world, the revulsion that act created of these 59 young people, men and women, youth, protesting for what was due to them, freedom to be who they are in their own country, that was denied to them, and their very lives were denied to them by government, by the government gun. Policies had to change, and they did in South Africa. But apartheid, being apart from one another, that still exists. It exists in many forms, covertly, overtly, silently. We live in a very inclusive and very diverse world. And in Canada, we live in a very multicultural, beautiful place. It's really, in many ways, utopic. This was the grand illusion that we all held, and certain acts dispelled that feeling. On that cold winter day, when shots rang out in Quebec City, 6 people at prayer in their masjid, in their mosque in Quebec City, in a beautiful place, a wonderful place. These people were standing at prayer, praying to their Creator, and their lives were cut short by a young man, a Canadian, a white man, 27 years old, educated, had everything going for him. But he was taught that people should be apart. He was taught that you should blame the people who don't look like you, who speak a different language, who dress differently than you, who pray differently than you. They're the problem. And that young man was taught how to hate. So, my friends, today we are talking about a day that has been going on every year continuously since 1966, the United Nations Declaration for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. But you know what? Since that time, we certainly have come very far. Throughout communities, throughout the world, here within our own government, within our own country, in our provinces and our cities, people of different ethnic backgrounds have attained very high status as MPs, as MLAs, as our defense minister, in every branch, socially and in government and in teaching. People from all walks of life share the knowledge that we are all together as people, as human beings. And that's a very important thing. So we as human beings today are standing on unceded Coast Salish territory, and we'd like to acknowledge that today. And we'd also like to acknowledge our first speaker. He is a chief of the Chiam First Nation. He has been a very great friend of our community and the many multicultural communities. He is a father, he is a grandfather, he is a writer, and he is a very dedicated man to our communities. So, but before we do start and ask Ernie to come up, I would ask Layla and Mariam Rashid to open the program with a brief recitation from the Holy Quran. Please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Surah Al-Fatiha.
The opening chapter of the Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
I begin with the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the merciful.
الحمد لله رب العالمين.
All praise is for Allah, the Lord of the universe,
الرحمن الرحيم.
the most beneficent, the merciful,
مالك يوم الدين.
master of the day of the requital.
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين.
It is only to you that we enslave ourselves, and only from you that we seek assistance.
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم.
Take us to the straight path,
صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم
the path of those you have favored,
غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
not the path of those who have drawn your wrath, nor of those who have strayed. Ameen. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Laila and Mariam, for that beautiful recitation.